Chat, here we go. It's Nass versus Diaz. The final champion for Feer. If you haven't already watched the previous videos, assuming this is going up live on YouTube and that's where you're watching, you want to go back to the draft a few videos ago. That one's probably labeled Diaz versus Drally. And you might get slight spoilers now that you showed up here first, but hey, we're now down to Nass versus Diaz. Nass, the #1 overall pick from chat. They decided they wanted the #1 overall pick as opposed to the 2nd and 3rd pick. They then got the 4th and 5th as well, which they selected Jack and Diaz. And so far, their team has done pretty well. My team is Drally, Moxie, and Diaz. He has to play on EU ping, though. We are on EU servers, in case you're wondering. He's on 112. He had 120, and then he went Hackerman and somehow got it down to 112, which I don't understand how that's possible. But hey, I'm glad he was able to, as Diaz needs to clutch it out for me. The way the format works, as you guys can see, it is 2-0 currently in favor of chat. Diaz, if he wins this one, is going to get opportunities to play against Jack and Diaz in an attempt to try and reverse sweep the entire crew battle. He is going to have to win this 1v1 and then reverse sweep the crew battle. And he's doing so as the last pick. Technically, we can't hide from it. He was the last pick. Nass was the first pick. Chat picked him. Diaz on EU ping, by the way, is the only reason why he fell to last pick. I think everybody here can agree that if this game was played on LAN or US East, then Diaz is probably either, you can make an argument for first pick, but he's probably at least 2nd pick because Diaz has been insane on US East. And I'm assuming that a lot of his struggles, well, I have to give credit to EU. EU is a deep region, tough to win in that EU salt mine, don't get me wrong, even if he was on LAN. I do think at least part of it has to be related to the ping. This is me coping for all of us US East fans. And maybe we'll get to see him on LAN. He's going to go to North America, which means he'll get a little bit better EU ping, but maybe not that much better because I think the Complexity guys are in Texas, right? And I think him and Complexity are going to be competing in North America, and actually Texas gets pretty bad EU ping. Might even be worse than what he has right now. So it still will only be US East games. Maybe Complexity can just qual for a LAN, and we'll get to see him on low ping. Or if the first LAN is maybe in North America, we'll get to see the EU guys come over and play him on low ping. Either way, everyone is fiending for a Diaz low ping match. But who says he needs it? Who says he needs it? Diaz and Nass have played a few times, and I want to say that it would historically favor Diaz. They all have had to happen on US East, and some of them happened when Nass was in US East. So he wasn't playing on high ping as well. He was playing low ping against Diaz's like 90 or whatever, and Diaz was able to get the wins. But this time, it'll happen on Nass's home turf with a bigger disadvantage for Diaz as he rocks 112 to Nass's 32. So that's the roundup of the format. If Nass wins, it's over, chat, and their draft has swept me and my team. And their reward, 8 additional hours into that timer in the bottom right, which is the timer for this 9 to 5-a-thon that we go live every day from 9 to 5, as long as that keeps going up. And I tell you what, when I'm supposed to be winning, if Diaz can clutch it out for me, will be a day off. +8. Chat is, of course, typing, haha, +8. Now, you might wonder to yourself, why does Diaz want to try and clutch it out for you? Why 3 wins? What does Diaz care? He gets $100 per win. So if he can beat Nass and then beat Jack and then beat Diaz, or actually it can be whatever order you guys want or whatever order they need. I don't want to keep them all around if they can't play. But I will let you guys pick, assuming that Jack and Diaz are both available and both can play, who you guys want to have play Diaz first. Assuming he beats Nass. Right now, he was up 3-1, I think, but 4 straight for Nass means he's not really on track to necessarily winning in this series. He's been playing a bit on EU Salt Mine. He's went through twice now. He lost in the first time to Tempo and Toxic, and he lost the second time to Nush and Jack. Those were the 4 people who have eliminated from the US East games. All of those players not qualifying as easily as Nass did. So Nass, I mean, there's no way around it. Listen, I'm trying my best to cope for Team Feer, but Diaz playing on EU against the best player maybe in the world, period, but definitely on EU servers, means he's the underdog, which just means it'll be even more cinema when he's able to clutch it out. Nass going top left to make it 7-3. The hot start for Diaz is over. So he was able to score 3 goals on 4 shots and hasn't been able to find any more shots since then. Chat spam, Feer, sync your chat? Or is it not showing up? Is one of the emotes not showing up? Sometimes when I sync it, it still doesn't matter. I'll sync it and I'll give it a refresh in case there's some emote you want. I don't know which one it is. It should be good now. If it's not, then we just have to wait. The app is just not working. Diaz demoed a crucial demo at that, as it seems like for the next minute 16, Diaz kind of has to have possession all the way to the very end if he wants to win this game. Nass plays the air dribble very safe and brings it to the ground. And now a double resets can hopefully turn into a Diaz possession here sometime soon. If you didn't watch the previous rounds of this crew battle, I highly recommend going to check them out, because they were truly utter cinema. I mean, there's no other way to put it. They were great matches that I highly recommend watching. It's just really unfortunate for Team Feer how they happened to end. Diaz, the flick is in. 37 seconds, and he's got a chance here. Nass is even going to drop him a nice one. We'll watch it so that we can revel in the glory that is Diaz attacking through the air. Now it's time for 3 straight kickoffs. Nass instead is the one to score, and Diaz knows that it is indeed over. He needed every single kickoff and every possession in his favor. Nass 1 game closer to finishing off the crew battle for chat as he goes up 1-0 in this best of 5. Let it be known that when Johnny was here at the beginning, another fellow 1v1 commentator, Johnny said, if you're doing survival, then Feer team wins. We are doing survival, by the way. So Johnny had Feer's team winning as well. Okay? Johnny non-ball knower. So only the chat knows ball, is what you're trying to tell me. Team Feer could win, but they wanted 8 hours. I'd hope not. I'd hope they're fighting for their $100. Kickoffs nowhere only. Johnny win no kickoffs. Did you guys hear the recent Johnny rant when somebody suggested not having kickoffs? And could you believe that Johnny was on the side of Team Kickoff? That he thought kickoffs were good and that taking them away would be the worst thing you could possibly do. I know. It might surprise you. It might surprise you. Nass up 1-0 quickly. What was the alternative? They were speculating like giving the ball to the person who got scored on, I believe, back in their own half. My take on it was, I mean, it'd be neat to have a mode try it. I mean, Johnny said as much as well. He said it'd be neat to have a mode to try it. He went with, to show you how bad it is. Oh my goodness, Nass, no way you get that save. Oh, goodness, Nass. Chill out. Nass, I never even had a chance to pick you, so you shouldn't be trying to take me down. Diaz reset, top shelf. And that is clean. That is clean no matter which way you slice it. A perfect shot through the air. I'm going into the chat. It's time for me to fight back. Nass, low 50. Undoubtedly not as cool as the goal we just watched Diaz do. Diaz with boost advantage. Nass faking the flick and then going low 50. Nass off the sidewall after another kickoff win. Diaz able to get this challenge to go low and return to the ground sooner. So he's going to shoot on his open net to make it 2-2. Oh yeah, we should update title. Good call. It is now Nass versus Diaz. Diaz off the side wall. Every setup is the perfect setup when you're Diaz. And he's going to get it around Nass. I thought he was going to have to try and bump. Did he protect the ball at all? These are not on US East, Wavy. Diaz is playing on EU ping. That was the agreement when we picked the teams and drafted them all. Nass actually gets decent NA ping from EU. I think he gets like under 100 even. So you might be saying, well, isn't it better to do it that way then? But I just think we couldn't have known that Diaz was necessarily going to be playing against someone who gets good at US East ping. So sure, maybe he could have played some fair servers, you know, on his home servers. But also, it's just like too hard to predict too. In case anyone was wondering, this is kind of an answer for everybody why we didn't allow Diaz to maybe play some games on US East. Because let's say the matchups with certain people were played on US East, then it's like, okay, do I draft him? But I only want to draft him if he's going to get to play on US East against other people who get decent ping on US East. And if he's not going to play against those people and he's going to have to play on EU, then maybe I don't want to draft him. So it was all just too much. If he was going to play here on this clearly EU tournament, he was just going to have to play on EU servers. That was what I decided. Yeah, never draft me on EU servers. I mean, Diaz is a little bit more used to high ping than some of the other, you know, pretty much all of the main EU and NA players. Obviously, the KSA guys, you know, some of them worse than others have to deal with high ping. I think Nupo is the first one I can think of who can get pretty bad, like 100+ ping, even on EU servers, and just has no choice but to fight through it. Nass is going to equalize as he flicks into this top left corner. Diaz had been leading the whole game, and of course it comes to a chorus of ha's, and yes, as somebody points out, anything equals haha. I seem to have noticed that. Some NA East players can play on EU ping, but a lot of us find above 50, 60 unplayable. Yeah, it's because you guys, you know, EU and NA are the fat cats who get to play high quality games on low ping, so they just have absolutely no training on the high ping because there's no reason to. You can always find a quality game or a higher quality game on your own server. Although, that being said, I would argue that the US East players who are really far east and can get sub 100 on EU should be queuing EU ranked. I mean, that is just, I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer. Maybe it's hard to get games during your time zone, but if you can get games, EU ranked seems like the place to be. If you're more central or west, it's probably bad enough that maybe you just train on US East. But what do I know? I'm only a 20-time grand champion. So I think, you know, I have a good opinion on ranked. Nass is probably going to run out ahead of this one and tap it in. You find it unplayable? Yeah, us West players, I'm not even full West, just semi-West. I mean, we play on 80 a ton, but I also think just games at a lower skill level don't have as tight of margins, and so ping isn't quite as bad. But when you're pro level, I can see how every little bit of ping, you know, with everybody so close, margins are real thin, ball touches are happening probably way more often. The more ping, the worse it gets. Nice shot from Diaz. 20-time GC plus next-gen tempo. True, true, true. I am the next tempo. Nass off the ceiling, gets countered. He actually got so close to making that save, even though he had to transition all the way to the ground. I think you forgot boosted 20 times after what we saw. Listen, we're just a little cold. Oh, Diaz, we really needed that one. Here at Team Fear, that open net needed to be a goal. But it's all right, because Nass is going to give us the ball. And we're going to send it right back on target this time with a chill reset. Oh, a fake reset? Oh, Nass read it. He's so good. He's so good. Oh, he's so good. He's so good. Unlucky. Unlucky for Team Feer. If Diaz wins this, I'm officially calling him best in the world. I don't care if he's 1-97 against Wavy. Oh, I don't know. That looked like a totally fair goal. We can all agree. Nothing weird happened there. Forfeit GG 2-1 next. There's nothing that could have been done. There's nothing that could have been done. Unfortunately, it is a win for Team Feer. It's just the way it goes. All right, let me type in here. It was 5-6 off. So 5-6, right? Chat, we all agree? We all agreed, right, chat? All right. 47 seconds. I got a diagonal kickoff, and now we have a straight kickoff, which is way less volatile, way less likely to be scored. Let it be known, we got scammed over here at Team Feer. But we don't care. Diaz will win it all the same. 21 boost, disadvantage, 35 seconds. Nass pops it to the moon, bumps Diaz, and scores. The overlay is wrong now, too. Oh, yeah, because it gave Nass the win already. Let me put it back to just 1 for Nass. Although it's looking... Wait, I take it back. I was looking over at the... I was looking over at the overlay, and I thought maybe Nass was getting a kickoff goal, but my boy Diaz was getting a kickoff goal. Oh, big kickoff win for Diaz. Nass in nets. Diaz going to slow play, keeping... Ball cam on, even maybe pulling the cam away a little bit to see what Nass is up to, but Nass makes the save, and now he's playing this end of the game really smart, keeping the ball close, and he will score. That one probably does it. That one probably gives Nass the second game win. Diaz might just have to full-on reverse sweep this series, and then full-on reverse sweep the entire crew battle. As Nass goes up 2-0. Oh my goodness. Game number 3. Nass versus Diaz. Maybe it hasn't been fixed. Maybe that was Nass shaking his head no. Like Feer, it's not fixed anymore. It was once fixed, but now I have to go in and out of team names. Nass gonna score first here in game number 3. Must-win scenario for Diaz and must-win scenario for Team Feer. One-way trip. Think of the 2 months of Prime. Diaz has fought honorably in these first couple of games. It has not like been insane blowouts or anything. And I wouldn't even say they're necessarily like close games that Nass has been dominating and then easing off the gas to make them be close. I think they've been genuinely close for Diaz and Nass. But the first 2 have gone the way of Team Chat. And surely the next 3 are going the way of Team Feer. I just can't help but think about the discussion that I'm going to have with Dr. Feer later. If Diaz isn't able to clutch up for me. Nass lets the resets fall away, drop on the goal line. Diaz makes the first save, but does not have any follow-up. And it's a 2-0 lead for Nass. Diaz flick sent to the backboard. Long shot from Nass is probably going to result in a boost steal. Diaz staying high on the back wall using dashes because he knows he's going to be stuck to pads. He is going to get boost. Or sorry, he's going to get ball, but he's not going to get boost. As he sends this one up high. 14 boost. I mean, there's no reason to go up there with it. He will not come out the better of that. So he does leave the ball for Nass. As Diaz now, the bounce dribble into the air, has the reset. Top shelf with the bump protection. Diaz on the board. And the beginning of the clutch reverse sweep starts now. Nass, I want to watch from his POV. He managed to survive. He didn't get demoed, but he did get pushed out of the way. And to think, all of this because you let chat bully you into a best of 5 coin flip for the draft. Can I say something? I thought you guys were going to pick second and third pick. In fact, you guys, when you did the pre-poll on Twitch, before we did the actual poll that I was talking about, you know, more votes happened in the poll that I did that you guys picked first. But your pre-poll, to feel out, you know, the idea of what chat wanted, actually went 2-3. In fact, even when you guys picked first pick, it wasn't like blow away. It wasn't like the coin flip where you guys got to choose to pick was clearly going to be you guys picking first. You spam nonstop to convince everyone to pick first pick. Oh, is that right? I mean, it's a good battle then. Although it didn't even matter. You guys realize your fourth and fifth pick, you know, are the ones who really clutched up, if you ask me. I mean, first pick might also, I guess, finish it out. So, I mean, across the board, you guys just drafted better if your entire team wins. But again, I will continue to cope. I think chat only slightly favored. When I asked you guys whose team was better right after we drafted, you only slightly favored your own team. And when Johnny was in chat, he thought my team was good too. So, what can you do? I mean, truly the first 2 games were just peak cinema. It couldn't get better, but they fell the wrong way. Nass, air dribble top shelf. The question is, will this series be cinema as well? As Nass resets and uses the flip to just dunk it in. Even if Diaz gets a couple touches on that, he's around to make sure it finishes. Add 8 hours to Johnny too. Johnny has to go live 8 hours. Someone tell him to go live early for Salt Mine today. He's got to put in an extra 4. Are you planning your speech for Dr. Feer? I can't tell her, dude. I can't tell her. Oh, she's going to be... And then when I tell her it's not even... It was potentially not even close. Diaz is still going to clutch out. I still believe. I'm not planning my speech. I believe in Diaz. He's down only 1. Minute 45. The only reason it looks bleak is because he's got a long road ahead of him. But with each road, we take a small step. That is how we travel it. You cannot travel it in one big leap. One step at a time. First, tie game 3. Tie it up 4-4 with 1:39 left to go. Second step, maybe win a kickoff. And if not, it's fine. We'll earn possession back in some other way. Nass. Oh! What'd I tell you? What did I tell you? Diaz takes the lead. 5-4 with 1:30 left to go. Imagine the cinema that a Diaz full reverse sweep could be. Not just, I mean, if he can do it against Nass, he can do it against anybody. The toughest battle is the first one. Diaz into the side corner, deciding not to take this in the air. This is a big mix-up from Diaz's normal strategy to just go air every single time. Nass has done enough to convince him. He's got a goal lead, and it seems like he's trying to play it a little bit safer. He just pinched it with Nass towards his net. It is high enough that Diaz should be able to clear it away. He booms it away, though, and he's not even going to try and follow it up. He knows that's too risky. Nass might be able to chip it around him, so he goes to save on the goal line. Nass trying to muscle it through, and he does! How does he do it? I thought Diaz had done enough to get it to that right or that left post. Right post from Diaz, POV, but he even stuck around to 50 again, and Nass found a way to squeeze it off the post and in. 5-5 with 41 seconds left to go. It's a tie game. Still a position that Diaz can win from. Delay kickoff from Nass. is going to get himself the boost. Diaz with 30 boost trying to make something happen. He does tap it over the top of Nass. Can he get a quick shot? Probably not. This bounce is going to be slow. He's going to try and get the angle. Oh my goodness. He almost found it. Moxie found it earlier. Diaz does not this time. Nass off the ceiling. We're watching from Diaz POV. Oh. And that just goes to show how tough it is to defend against Nass with 20 seconds left to go. Nass absolutely could have launched that ball where Diaz was expecting, but he wave dashes to the other side, and it just is a crater between Diaz and where the ball went through the net. 6-5. 20 seconds left to go. Diaz standard kickoff, and he wins it. And he gets a pretty darn good pop considering he's Diaz. First touch reset. Nass tries to fall back down to the ground. Wave that shot. Diaz is going to clutch up. Nass has to give him the nice one because he deserves it. Not an easy angle to shoot from. Nass goes to ceiling. And Diaz counters with the ground pinch shot. That goes directly into top shelf. Diaz waiting back with 26 boost. Nass going to dive in. Diaz pops it. Now he's on 0. He doesn't get this demo. Can he convince Nass to own goal? He's thinking about going to grab boost, but decides it's more important to play the ball. He pops it up. He needs to get it to the ground. Yes, thank goodness. He absolutely needed it to hit the ground there with Nass' massive boost advantage. Diaz, big kickoff win. Can he force it in before Nass gets there? He's going to try to on the left side of the net. Nass, what a save! Somehow gets it off the post and out. Diaz cannot get the boost steal or the undercut. He will take it to the other side of the field. He doesn't have time to go out and grab boost and get back, so he has to stay around the ball with 19. It's not going to be easy to do, but he reads Nass's challenge. Front flip on target is just barely off. And Nass has no pressure on him after he sent Diaz away. It's a double jump bump to Diaz. He can't get around it. He can't get around it. And Nass will win. It's a 3-0 sweep for chat. Oh, gosh. It also looks like Nass got beat 4 times, which he did not, because we did 2 different games.
Time to add 8 hours.
I think it's this one that wasn't legit.